Today we will talk about Microsoft OneNote. It is a productivity tool designed to support both learners and educators in sharing and collaborating. They can do so in and beyond the classroom through an online notebook format that holds endless information in several multimedia forms, such as pictures, audio, videos from YouTube, and it is maximized when used with other Microsoft tools. OneNote is a valuable resource for learners. It enhances engagement, promotes self-paced learning, and fosters collaboration and sharing. Educators also benefit from OneNote through features such as the organization of the tool. It uses sections with color, customizable tabs, and pages to make finding work linear. It accommodates all learners by allowing students to write or type their answers. And the best part is it is also immersive, using reading and audio options to reach a variety of learners. Overall, the tool is particularly effective for organizing lessons for any subject and providing a hub where students can locate and submit work, even if they miss school. In contrast to typical learning management systems, OneNote allows educators to see students posting their work in real time. This allows educators to give students feedback right away and to see whether students are engaged in the learning process. Today I'm going to walk through an instructional task I had my students do just last week. I usually assign students 2 assignments per week. So last week my students had to do a central idea assignment and an assignment where they had to analyze word phrases and meanings. This is based on the California Common Core Standards for English 8th grade. So in the beginning, I have my directions here. I usually add those by just simply tapping on the page and typing them. And then if you highlight them, you can change the style of the question to a heading, which is what I like to use to catch my students' attention. Next, I go to YouTube and I hit the share button there to share a video here. And all you have to do is paste the video inside the white page, click enter, and the video will automatically be there. And so I had my students analyze this video about how Black families have to have a police talk with their children in order for them to answer a question as an end goal. The end goal was for students to discuss the central idea or the author's message concerning the talk. The talk, again, is the conversation that Black families have with their children about how to deal with the police. Students had to cite textual evidence, and they had to explain their evidence and how it connects to their restated question and answer for the central idea, and they had to also elaborate on their answer. So a common thing that I use with Microsoft OneNote is tables. You just go to insert, and I use double-sided tables often. Once you click into the page, you'll see that these options are no longer hidden, but you can click them. So I usually enter a double-sided table like this. That way my students can easily see what they're supposed to do on the left and complete it on the right. Or sometime I have them watch videos or read information on the left and still answer on the right side. In this case, I use a 1-by-1 table, meaning I go to table, hit insert, go to insert, hit table, and I just use a 1-by-1. That way students can see the question at the top and respond in the section at the bottom. My students had to restate the question and answer, cite textual evidence based on the video, and they had to elaborate. And in my class, I teach students to elaborate in 3 or more sentences. So if you see me say, like I said, with your student elaborate with more sentences, it lets my students know they're missing one of the explanation sentences. In the end, they also had to summarize what the video is about and also what their point is. And they're graded on the SBAC rubric for California writing, which is on a 2-point scale. So they get a 2 if they master how to write a race response or a CER response, and they get a 1 if I see they're almost there, and a 0 basically if nothing is there. So that is one activity I had my students do, simply using tables from OneNote and the option to add a video. Another activity I had my students do was, which I think is also an important thing to show, is students had to analyze a video on the Black Panther Party just to learn the history of it, but also remember information to use for the 10-point program analyzation. So again, I use the same instructions for the directions. I insert a video, and in this process is a little bit different. On Microsoft OneNote, you're able to also insert, I'm just going to click into this board somewhere, insert a file. And this file can be insert, a PDF insert, or the file attachment. I like to do PDF insert because it's going to give you a button here that students can click on if they need to access it again. And it also dishes it out on the white page like so. The only downside to this option is that sometime when students click in, the worksheet disappears, but the answers are always there, which is why I also use tables, because the tables don't seem to disappear as the worksheets do. So in this case, my students had to read and analyze the Black Panther 10-point program to understand what it's about. And then they had to go up top and describe each topic and answer questions concerning the topic and take a side, whether they agree or disagree with the point programs and what the Black Panthers were asking for. I want to also state that in order for my students to answer on the worksheet, all they had to do was double click and the boxes appear. And for teachers' sake, if you right click on the PDF that you choose, you can set the picture as a background so that the page does not move while students are typing on it. What I typically want students to take from using Microsoft OneNote or any educational tool is I want them to see that these tools are about the same across any Microsoft tool and almost any platform such as Google as well. So I want them to take these features and know how to use them in whatever platform they use. Oftentimes, my students also have to use Canva in addition to using Microsoft OneNote, because I want them to see that these features go across the board. In the assignment that I chose for my students last week, I want them to take also the ELA factors from what I have to teach them, like central idea, word, phrase, and meanings. And the reason why students are studying the subjects in particular, like the Black Panther Party or the talk that Black communities have to have with their families for police, is because we're reading a text called The Hate You Give in class by Angie Thomas. And these are common themes that are brought up in the text. And because students have no context of what these things are, I use Microsoft OneNote as a way for students to learn, even if I am unable time-wise to teach them about these subjects in particular in class.